Friday, writers. It's been a great week, hasn't it? I know you've been working really hard this week on those essays, those literary essays. And so today we're going to take not just a break, we're going to move on to something else. We're going to go back to doing some journaling, but do something a little bit more in the moment, and I call it a little bit more fun, maybe a little more lightweight. So make sure that what you do today, you do on day 3 in your Google Classroom. And once you've done that, then you're going to submit everything. You're going to turn in the essay that you put in and then you edited and fixed and fancy. And you're also going to do today's activity in Google Classroom and then turn the whole thing in. But what I want to do today is talk to you a little bit about interviews. Now, I'm sure many of you have seen an interview before on TV, maybe a news anchor interviewing somebody, or maybe a famous person you know being interviewed. People get interviewed to get jobs. And an interview is done by somebody, the interviewer, who collects information and wants to find a way to record it and learn about a person. And so what better way to take a moment to get a snapshot of this moment in time that we are in? What better way to capture it than to interview somebody in your life that's going through it with you? So the first thing you're going to do, and I'm going to show you a little bit about what you do before you do an interview. The first and most important thing is that you choose a person. Who are you going to interview? Maybe it's going to be a parent, maybe a friend. You might even be interviewing a neighbor, somebody that you can talk to right now from a safe distance, or maybe on the phone or on a Zoom. Anybody you want, somebody that you think is of interest or that you want to learn more about. And then the next thing you're going to do is think of some questions. You have to have questions to ask this person. The way you learn about somebody is by asking them questions. And so one of the questions you can use, you might be thinking, well, what questions do I ask? One of the first questions you want to ask your person that you're interviewing is, what do you do? What do you do? What that basically means is, what is your job? Maybe it's a teacher. Maybe it's somebody who works in a library. Maybe it's somebody who works in a big law firm or is a doctor. Maybe it's your mom or dad who takes care of you all the time. Or maybe it's a grandparent. What did they do in the earlier part of their life? Now, the one thing I want to say is that when you ask somebody, what do you do? And this is, let's say, your neighbor or your mom or a relative, and you already know their job is, you're going to pretend like you don't and let that person tell you everything about what they do. Because chances are you're going to learn a little bit more about what they think about their job that you didn't even know. So you have to pretend that you don't know. All right? Okay. The next thing you're going to ask is, what do you miss? I bet there's a lot of things that they could answer about that. What do you miss right now in this time that we're in? What are they missing? And you're going to be recording that. Another thing that you can ask is, what is it like for this person you're interviewing? What is it like for them on a typical day? What is a typical day like? Do you know what that means, writers? Typical, it means like average, like normal, a normal day. What is a typical day like for you? You're going to ask the person you're interviewing what their typical day is like, but you're going to do a couple of things with that. Are you ready? You're going to ask about their typical day, but you're going to ask about now, the time that they're in. What's their typical day like now? And I bet you know where this is going. Then you're going to ask before. What was their typical day like before? Think about your day and my day, what it was like before. A lot different. So first you're going to ask them about what it was like, or what it's like now, and then what it's like before. And that's going to give you a really great way to practice using all those comparing and contrasting words that we've learned this year. Like also, or on the other hand, or unlike, or similar to. Remember all those good transitions? Okay, writers, the next thing you're going to ask is happy surprises. What are some happy surprises that have happened? That could be, well, gosh, suddenly Benjamin and Jonathan are getting along. That's a happy surprise. I'm learning to be outside a whole lot more. That's a happy surprise. I'm getting a lot of cleaning done in my house. I don't typically have time for that when I'm working. That's a happy surprise. So depending, that would just be me, right? But your person you're interviewing, what sort of surprises have happened to them in this time that they weren't expecting, that are good, that are happy? That up there. Okay, now, you might be wondering, how am I going to capture all this information? Well, a couple of different ways. You can first choose to record it on a parent's phone using a video or a video camera. You can record it. But writers, one thing I want to remind you that's super duper important is anytime you record anything from anybody, you know what you have to do first? You got to ask permission. It's just a polite way of saying that it's okay for you to record their information, because now you're making it something that you might share with others, and that needs to be okay with them. So make sure you ask. And I made a little reminder for you right here. Ask permission. So regardless of whether you record it on a video camera or a phone, on an audio recording, regardless of how you record it that way, you have to, at some point, write it down. And that means you have to take notes. So maybe you prefer to take a video and then play that video back to yourself and write your notes down. Maybe you don't even want to do the video. You just want to go right to the notes and be like a reporter when you're interviewing and write all your questions, your answers down as you go. The last thing you could do, and this is something that I know some writers like to do, some of us who really love organizing information, you can make a chart. Yeah, you can. And if you really know your way around Google Docs, you can even make a separate one and put some tables in there and everything. The thing is, you're going to want to figure out how to share that with me if you do that. So just beware. If you do it in Google Docs, please let me know in Google Classroom. Just say, Mrs. Richards, see the chart that I made. And then you're going to share that extra Google Doc with me. Now, writers, I'm going to take a picture of this chart, and you'll probably notice, you've probably already seen it, it's on our slideshow. So you will be able to remember all these great little cues and reminders and suggestions of ways that you can conduct your interview. Now remember, when you're conducting your interview, what are some really good skills that you're going to need to practice as the interviewer? Is it really important that you speak clearly and ask the questions well? But what's going to be the most important thing that you do? Your listening skills. I know I got real close there for a second. Listening. Writers, you get to practice one of the most important things that a really good writer does is they ask questions and listen. And when you listen really well, you learn. And when that happens, you can write really, really well about the person that you're trying to understand better, the person that you're trying to learn more about. And when you do that and record it, that is going to be saved from now and forever for you to have about that person in that moment in time. I'm so excited for you. I bet you're already thinking about who you might interview. If you do one interview and you had so much fun and you want to do another one, go for it. There's always more. So have fun with this, writers. Remember, it's meant to be fun, but do it in a way that shows what a really good writer you are by listening well, asking those right questions, and making sure to share it the best way you can. Have fun. Remember to always keep writing and enjoy. Off you go.